Welcome, everybody. My name is Michael, and today is one of the craziest days. It's Tuesday, the day after inauguration, January 21st. Tomorrow's my birthday, actually, so that's exciting. Ross Ulbricht has had his sentence commuted by the Donald, by the President of the United States of America. And he promised to do it day one, and he's been campaigning for it for a little bit. And Senator Rand Paul wrote to him about it. And there's been plenty of action for the past couple of years, because back in 2013, he was arrested for the Silk Road, the original Silk Road. He never sold illicit substances himself. He never had any violent crimes that he was guilty of committing. He was sentenced to 2 life sentences plus 40 years. And the way, if you're not American, the way the American prison system works and legal system, they stack sentences, they stack these charges. So in the future, if there were any appeals, you could potentially remove, 10 years or 15 years. Well, 2 life sentences and then 40 years, that makes it a little unfair. And he was sentenced to 2015. So now it's 2025. And today his sentence was commuted. That's it. He served 11 plus years in prison, and it's finally happened. Today's the day where I'm not sure when he's going to get released, how that works in a presidential pardon. It's not like, immediately this minute. I'm sure there's a process, but in a very immediate fashion, he will be released. And that's it. He was pardoned for his crimes. And this is going to be fascinating because this guy, a potential multimillionaire, and if not, he is a very famous developer, very famous cryptocurrency enthusiast. A lot of people support him. He will be a millionaire. Even if he comes out of prison day one with zero, there's thousands of people that supported him. And this is, if you're an Avi viewer, this is something I wanted for a long time. I'm very happy that he's finally coming out of prison. One of my dreams was back when I did have Avi to hopefully interview the man himself. Maybe I'll be able to do that in the future when we have a larger channel, but I'm just very glad that he's finally coming out of prison, because I don't care about other prison sentences in America. I'm looking at international cases. And you had Hansa, you had Alphabet. Well, Alphabet was a little different with Mr. Kaz's life being, but anyways, Hansa Marketplace, you had a couple others where in Germany, in the Netherlands, in Norway, you had various marketplace owners and high-ranking employees, let's just call them that. They were charged with similar crimes, and in their cases, some of them have already been out for years. That's right. They've been charged, they served their prison time, and they've been released. And then you had vendors, you had dealers, you had employees, the actual developers, the owners of the websites who served their prison time, and that's it, non-violent crimes. And then you have this case where this guy's serving 2 life sentences plus 40 years, while you have actual heinous people who have committed terrible acts serving 10 years, 15, 20, 25, and they're coming out and they've taken lives, and violent repeat offenders who are serving less time than he is. So when you have politicians coming out and supporting you, you know something is wrong. And Donald Trump called the mother of Ross Ulbricht to let her know, hey, it's being ceased. So it is controversial, but of all the people who've pardoned, or a president can pardon, obviously there are worse options. So there was a huge amount of people, 1,500 plus, that were pardoned, who were involved with a certain event on January the 6th. And with that, most were released that night. Now, there were a couple that weren't released in prison. If they were in prison, most weren't even in prison. They had their sentences, they went to court, they were charged with felonies, whatnot, depending on the severity. But you had a fair amount of people that were, never had to step inside prison. However, a couple did, depending on their lawyers and what they did and whatnot. And some, it was a lengthy process because there were so many, and try to find out who it was, because some people were, trying to look anonymous and whatnot. The FBI was able to find them. But anyways, police did not release every single person associated with that incident because they did not have full authorization to release yet. They may release some tomorrow. I don't know what's going on, but a presidential pardon means probably in the very near immediate future, if you've been pardoned, you are going to get released. And then there's also preemptive pardons and whatnot. But either way, Ross Ulbricht will probably be a free man, if not today, tomorrow, or this week or whatnot. That's awesome. That's awesome news. Yeah, sure, he was involved in certain controversial things. However, ultimately, again, when you're comparing him to other dealers, vendors, darknet marketplace owners, most of them did not have to serve anywhere near the time he has already served, let alone his crazy sentence. Life sentences should only be for violent crimes or egregious crimes, crazy stuff that impacted a ton of people. Sure, is he an innocent man? He did some bad things. I certainly agree with that. However, the sentence was not fitting of the crime. And there are plenty of examples, thousands of examples of other inmates being released in less time than he has already served, who went on to later become a repeat offender, engaging in violent activities that did actually impact other people. You can find these local cases around you. It's in every state. It's craziness, and the legal system certainly needs more reform, at least in America. But with that said, free Ross worked. Hey, that's crazy. I mean, just the first 2 days he's in office, we had, the crazy crypto phenomenon. His token is still worth tens of billions of dollars. It's insane. Ross Ulbricht was freed. 200 executive orders signed the very first day. Some of them crazy, like renaming the Gulf of Mexico. I mean, we're going to see what happens for cryptocurrency, right? At the end of the day, we're all capitalists, regardless of whichever political side you are on. Who cares? Because money matters. Money matters. And also, if you're a crypto fanatic, well, you probably also were curious about the darknet marketplaces out there and their histories, and maybe were potentially involved in them. So that's why, certain people are cheering about Ross Ulbricht's freedom. Anyways, with that said, thanks for watching. And if you're curious about more cryptocurrency news, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of it this year. Please consider subscribing to this and supporting my other secondary channel. Link is in the description below. That one is about Volvo and car sales, because that's my current day-to-day job. Thanks for watching. Have a good night and stay safe, because right now it is a crazy 4 degrees that my car is showing. My watch is showing -3, and it's going to be -10 tonight. So we're charging. I'm going to get out right now, and we're going home.